Good morning, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. Happy Hump Day before Thanksgiving. Yep, this is great. Normally I would say that with Hump Day, just gotta get through today, and the weekend's already almost here. But because pretty much everybody has a day off tomorrow, you know, we're already, you could almost call this a Friday in its own right. And yeah, there's always Black Friday, but let's be honest, it's not really that big of a deal or whatever. So, yeah, you gotta go back to, technically, you gotta go back to the old grind on Friday. It's Black Friday. Sorry, just doing a little bit of a computer malfunction. There we go. And, yeah, that, that's really about everything. Still riding that high from the awesome movie I saw last night. I don't think anything's gonna really top it necessarily, but I don't know. Well, I guess in terms of animation, although Incredibles 2, I suppose, comes pretty close to that. Maybe. I don't know. I have to see about that. So yeah. Although technically, if you're a kid, specifically a student, you actually already have the day off because that's just how it is. The Wednesday and Thursday and Friday of the week of Thanksgiving, you have off from school, which means you either get to sleep in, stay at home, and prepare for the Thanksgiving festivities tomorrow, or your parents have a lot of errands to run in preparation for said Thanksgiving festivities tomorrow, and since you're a child and can't be left home alone, you have to go with your parents and run errands for the day, which can be a real drag. Hey, listen, I have nightmares from that stuff, man. That's the struggle is real. I see it like every day, even now. Kids have a day off from school and they want to stay home, but no, they gotta go with their parents and run errands. That's always a real drag. But again, the struggle is real. Don't really. That's just how it is, I suppose. But funny enough, if you're one of my brothers from Trinity Pauling, you've already been off for a few days now, haven't you? I've actually been meaning to tell this story for a while, but ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of TP Tales. Yay! Don't worry, this one's actually a really good one. And they've all been good in their own right, but this one's actually funny, especially if pretty much every alumni from Trinity Pauling has been a senior at some point, so you're gonna respect this. You're gonna enjoy this. Well, for starters, Trinity Pauling's graduation ceremony happens on roughly the weekend of Memorial Day. For me, it was May 29th, 2009. That's the day I graduated. But believe it or not, Trinity Pauling, like college, actually has two sets of finals week. There's the finals week before Thanksgiving break, which starts. Well, the finals week ends on that particular Friday, and then everyone goes home on said Friday, and then we're off for the entire week. So, the rest of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Thursday that Thanksgiving is, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, roughly 10 days off from school. And then you have another set of finals week, but I'll get into that momentarily. See, the way Trinity Pauling works, if you're a senior, is you have to make sure that your grade point average, or GPA, has to be fairly consistent year-round. Like, in the spring semester, it has to be roughly around the same, give or take a few points, or points, or whatever that is, from the first two trimesters. See, Trinity Pauling was broken down to, trimester, fall, winter, and spring. And your spring trimester had to be roughly around the same as, the other two. Because if you didn't, then you couldn't go home after graduation and have to stay for finals week. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. At Trinity Pawling, graduation for seniors takes place right before finals week. If you were good enough and made sure your GPA was consistent all throughout the year, then you didn't have to take finals for in the spring trimester. And for those of you and there weren't finals in the winter trimester, don't worry. Just in the fall and the spring. So if you were unlucky enough to rest on your laurels in the spring, thinking, "Oh, I'm a senior, the year's I'm just about done here. I don't need to do anything." Guess what? You gotta make sure your GPA is good. Otherwise, graduation takes place. I believe they let you take part in the ceremony, but they don't give you your diploma until after the finals week, after graduation is over. And you have to stay for that extra week. Yes, that happens. It didn't happen, thankfully, from what I recall, it didn't happen to anyone in my graduating class. So, that's always good. But, yeah, as for me, I rocked my finals week when I was at Trinity Pawling in the fall. In fact, one of my crowning achievements was I actually got a 95 in my functional analysis and trigonometry final, which was actually the second highest grade of the final in that class. I'd say what the highest grade was, and I would say the name of the person who had the highest grade, but A, as you all know, I never say names so as not to embarrass or offend anyone, and B, let's just say it would be proving a certain stereotype right. I'm going to leave it at that. But, yeah, I still remember that Friday I was taking my environmental studies final. Actually, funny enough, my environmental studies final took place in the cafeteria, which was the barn, if you guys remember way back when I told you about the dining hall. Yeah, my last final at Trinity Pawling took place in a barn. It was actually kind of cool. And, I remember exiting the barn when I was done and walked to my dorm, and there my mother was waiting for me to pick me up and take me home for the wonderful Thanksgiving break that later ensued. All in all, that was actually a pretty good time overall. Of course, even though my graduating class didn't have to take finals after graduation, thankfully, there was actually still one test that a lot of people don't know about that you absolutely had to make sure you did well on if you wanted to graduate. Okay, I'm not going to leave you in suspense any longer. Basically, seniors at Trinity Pawling actually have a history of, you're graduating tomorrow, and, nothing's going to get in your way from you getting that diploma, so they tend to sneak in a few things that they shouldn't be doing. Say, alcohol, for instance. On a school campus. A high school campus. So, yeah, you got caught smoking, or drinking, or doing any kind of drugs the night before you graduated, you don't graduate at all. Oh, yeah. There are seniors who've done that before. In fact, the year I graduated, everyone made sure that we all stayed together, making sure that we didn't do anything stupid. So, we have each other's backs. And seriously, there were dorm parents, waiting outside the dorms of those who were seniors to make sure that we didn't get in any trouble at all throughout the night. It was crazy. As I recall, what I was doing was, there was a few guys I knew from choir, as well as the director and creator of the McDonald's Mafia, among others. We actually stayed in literally the coolest room in Johnson Dormitory. And because it was basically one of those special rooms where it was technically a double, but it was a single. It was awesome. Like this room was like huge. It was awesome, and we spent like a half hour playing like the new Mortal Kombat game that came out, and then we watched The Count of Monte Cristo, which, yeah, that was a fun night. But, you know, I started getting tired, so I head back to my dorm, and sure enough, there's two of my dorm parents who, believe it or not, were two of the 16 of the right, who are just waiting outside Dunbar Dormitory, which is where I stayed. And, yeah, you know, they're just out there making sure seniors don't get into any kind of trouble or debauchery or what have you. It was actually kind of scary thinking like, wow, people would really be dumb enough to do something bad right before they graduate so they wouldn't graduate. And then there's the actual graduation ceremony itself. See, students at Trinity Pawling believe that you don't officially graduate until they give you your diploma, which, you know, after they give you your diploma, there's nothing they can do. They obviously, I mean, it's a high school diploma. Once you get it, no one can take that away from you. So, it's tradition at Trinity Pawling, believe it or not, that once you receive your diploma, seniors who graduate actually get to start smoking a cigar. Yep. Students who receive their diploma would be smoking cigars, watching their fellow peers receive diplomas as well, for them to smoke cigars as well. In case any of you guys are wondering, I was a good little boy, so I actually didn't smoke a cigar during my graduation. Hey, I may be a loser, but I'm a loser with principle. That made no sense at all. But, yeah. Actually, right up there, that's actually my, Trinity Pawling diploma. I got that and got framed, and, yeah. I, graduated, and, you know, I didn't smoke a cigar, but the two people sitting next to me on both sides were smoking cigars. And keep in mind, I was also kind of a health nut, and I didn't want to make sure that I didn't inhale secondhand, so I'm like trying to hold my breath the entire time. Excuse me. To make sure I don't inhale it in. But, yeah. All in all, that was a pretty fun day. And my final memory of Trinity Pawling before I left was, after graduation, I said goodbye to literally the third friend I made at Trinity Pawling. He was actually a sophomore at the time who ran cross country with me, and he was actually a very good squash player. And, you know, yeah, just said goodbye to him and told him to take care, and from what I hear, he's doing well, so that's good enough for me. So, the moral of the story is, even if the finish line is right there, and technically there's nothing that can stop you from reaching it, don't rest on your laurels. Make good choices. Keep up the good work that you're able to do. And when all that takes place, you can make it through a time in your life that you honestly never thought you would be able to make it through. But that's a story for another day. So right now, please like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. Follow me on social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. As always, I am very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm very hopeful that we all have a wonderful hump day. Getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care, everybody.